Yeah, yep. We're live!
Ugh. I thought I had a headache, but I don't really have a headache. Now I've got a double headache. Because I've got a headache, and then I've got a lower decks headache.
We need to fight zombies.
Oh. Wish this thing aspirin would kick in, because lower decks.
Didn't your boy Garrett like lower decks?
No, he liked the STD.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
Anyway, let's not. You need a collar boy anyway.
I had to do. Make fun of him too on the like, hey man, they got your girl on there.
Oh.
They got your girl on Star Trek Day. Hey, look, at least he's not a lower decks fan. Oh, it's just a attempt at freaking Rick and Morty. It literally even has the same art style. So lazy.
That is weird.
Dude, they tried to do their own Rick and Morty. The humor is even similar. They even got like the drunk falling out, puking all over themselves. It's just Star Trek Rick and Morty. Lazy crap.
I mean, anyway.
You're not going to find anything redeeming. Just dive in. There's no hope here.
Yep. Welcome to Dicejunkies. I'm Xenodamus. I'm here with...
Here with a headache.
And on Skype...
We have Bloodaxe without a headache.
All right, let's get started. Let's just go ahead and dive into to part of the reason for Q's headache and his second headache.
The second headache. The original one I woke up with.
And let's talk about William Shatner, guys. Come on. I know you've been following this pretty big, Blood, so I'm going to let you start us off on this one.
So, there was a fan that had sent an X message or out to William Shatner and asked, would he or Kirk be in any future Star Trek series or shows? And he responded with, "What do you think?" And he shared with everyone a simple picture, which you can clearly see there's not any of the 4 possible representations of Captain Kirk even present. For those of you that don't know, there's obviously the original series, there's the animated series from the 70s, there's the Christopher Pine cinematic version, and Strange New Worlds. I can't remember the actor's name, but actually has a pretty good version of Kirk. So there's 4 possible iterations, and they decided to go with anime characters instead of going with William Shatner, which is clearly a slap in the face. I mean, I can't argue with a lot of the choices, but I mean, the cartoon characters is an insult, basically, and I get they're trying to represent their current franchises with Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds and STD, but the fact that you crapped all over the very first captain that was the iconic member of or the face of Star Trek next to Leonard Nimoy is really insulting, and it's clearly showing that Paramount has issues with either Kirk or William Shatner or a combination of both, and it's deafening with the way that they're basically trying to minimize his impact on the on Star Trek.
Now, I mean, we say this, and this is the accusation that William Shatner actually pointed out. But I mean, do you feel like we could possibly just be reading too much into this? Like, I mean, maybe they just picked some images, man.
No, and this happened several years ago. Whenever William Shatner was in an interview, and he said that if Gene Roddenberry were alive, he'd be turning over his grave right now with what they've done to Star Trek. And clearly, Paramount took offense to what he'd said, and I will disagree with him. Actually, I do agree with him, because even the only show that I halfway enjoyed was the first season of Strange New Worlds. The second one, once we got to the one that was a musical, really just rubbed me raw. So no, I don't think they're looking too much into it. I think it's very blatant and obvious of what they're trying to do. And William Shatner's been very vocal, and he has a reputation of being hard to get along with. And you know, some actors are that way, but you know, to disrespect one of the main reasons why you have a successful franchise for almost 60 years now is telling. So. It's just another reason why a lot of the things I enjoyed as a kid, between Star Wars and Star Trek, people are trying to rewrite or, like I said, minimize or get rid of those things that made those franchises near and dear to our hearts when we were growing up as kids.
And there's a second graphic as well, which also does not include, but includes some other people. Yeah, no, I mean, it is interesting to see. I mean, it's an odd choice not to do Kirk, and you almost, I mean, because Kirk is such a big character, it almost has to be a slap in the face. But I mean, I'd throw out the question just because, you know, it is a possibility. You can't deny it's a possibility it wasn't malicious. It's a very small possibility, but it's a possibility.
No, it's not. I'm sorry, but if this was a case where the most well-known or the most successful or the most groundbreaking part of the series had been a different part of it, I would say yes. But there is no doubt that the first season of Star Trek made Star Trek. There's just no, that's what made it. There would be no Star Trek if not for that. And William Shatner's Captain,
they did include people from that series.
They're not the iconic characters.
Yeah. Well, no, they were. The ones that were included are definitely iconic characters. Spock is an iconic character.
An iconic character. I said the iconic character. When somebody says first generation Star Trek, your first character that pops into your mind is Captain James T. Kirk.
Well, yeah.
When geeks argue over Star Trek Next Generation original series, they don't argue over the series themselves. They argue who's a better captain.
Yeah, I never heard of a conversation of who's the better Vulcan, because it's Leonard Nimoy. But there was always this question of Kirk or Picard, yeah. Kirk or Picard, exactly. Kirk or Picard. Yeah, I'm gonna be blunt. You know what? We gonna hate. You want to be like that? Never heard Janeway or Picard. Yeah. And I love Cisco. I love Deep Space Nine. My favorite series. Never heard Cisco or Picard though. It's Kirk Picard. It's a famous debate. Okay. And the reason I say it's not that it was intentional is because are we far enough in?
No.
Are we?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
There is a mother flipping, flim-flamming, cross-eyed, Budokai, crunchy flip and cartoon character in the dang lineup. There is a cartoon character in the lineup. If you know what? If every one of them had been a serious character that you could recognize, yes. But I'll ask you a question. You're a big Star Trek guy. Who's that fourth character? Who's the alien?
I don't know.
It wouldn't me, dude. I'm not a Star Trek guy.
So you got an alien CGI character and a cartoon character.
The cartoon is from Lower Decks.
No, I know the cartoon character. She's terrible. It's the Rick and Morty ripoff. I said, it's trash. But at least I know the character. I don't even know where the heck the CGI thing's from.
Oh yeah, when I saw that,
was there a CGI series that we don't know about?
I didn't care enough to look it up, but I have no idea where that character's from.
So, if every character had been an iconic character, you even mentioned a good one that could have been up there instead of the stupid cartoon character or whatever the heck that was. Data, flipping Data, iconic character. You know what? Borg Queen. There's better characters. Odo. What's the Feringe's name? Oh, I'm drawing a blank. You know what I'm talking about. from
The
CG Fenner.
Ferengi? I mean, Quark.
Quark. There are plenty of characters. How about Worf? Worf, the Klingon. No. So they weren't trying to go only the most iconic characters. They quite literally were throwing random junk up there because they said, we don't have enough women. Grab a blue CGI person and toss them up there in that stupid cartoon about forts and puke and sex. Because Lower Decks is very crass. It is not. No, it is tacky, trash animation designed to try to get off of the Rick and Morty and adult cartoon craze. They said, well, let's make our own raunchy thing and maybe we can get some attention. That's all it was. There was no quality, no expanding to the lore, nothing, no attempt at better. I mean, my boy Zeno is literally trying to find this person. He can't even find the whatever it is. You know, and he is genuinely trying. He can't even find it. You know, can't even find the character. So, if it had been Data and Worf and Odo and a few other iconic characters, heck, Wesley even, knowing as he is, at least you know him. You know what I mean? But like, cartoon character, unknown character, just to fill out the roster, add more female genders to the top of that, which is dumb because there's other well-known female characters as well. I mean, what about Deanna Troi? What about Dr. Crusher? You know what I'm saying? There are other freaking female characters. So it's like, it's lazy, it's sorry, it's badly done. They didn't want William Shatner in there, so they threw in whoever they could. And to not have your first captain is dumb. Why? The only person, I mean, you know how dumb it is? That would be as dumb as making a cartoon series about He-Man and then you don't have He-Man. Oh, wait.
We already have that.
Yeah, he's already crying because nobody wants to watch the second season. It's like nobody trusts him. You know, this dumb idea that you can literally just, like, you know, make a new, just go like, hey, what did you like about this? Let's not, I mean, dude, even Barbie had Barbie in it. You know what I mean? It didn't go like, let's do this Barbie movie. It's all about Sandra. No, like, this is a freaking Barbie. And guess what? The main Barbie kind of looked like the Barbie we knew. And the Ken we knew. Guess what? If they hadn't done that, would have done as well. So, not having your first captain is stupid. Wow, you found it. What the heck is that?
Star Trek Prodigy is an American animated science fiction television series created by
Nickelodeon?
For the streaming service Paramount Plus and the cable channel Nickelodeon.
Alex Kurtzman did it. We should have known. That guy sucks.
So yeah, it's Star Trek
across my Paramount
Prodigy.
Plus feed, and I have all the Star Trek stuff.
I want y'all to know that I was talking that long because that's how long it took him to find that frigging character. That is how long it took. Okay, I want you to understand this. That's a Nickelodeon character, but not William Shatner. That's actually more insulting. More people know Lower Decks. How many people are going to know the freaking Nickelodeon character? Grown-ups don't watch Nickelodeon. So that means that this is a character that's only going to be recognized by little kids who like Star Trek.
Well, you want to know what you want to know what makes it worse?
What?
Is on the Paramount. If you search for Star Trek Prodigies isn't even on Paramount. The character they pulled.
Like I said, it hasn't been in any of my feeds, so I had no idea that it was even a show
You
that
can't
existed.
even watch that.
So you can't even go see who it is. No wonder you couldn't find it. Has it just been removed?
I'm assuming Nickelodeon probably has the current rights or something.
Probably. Just like, was it Yellowstone? Paramount can't even put Yellowstone because it's
So
on.
I'm sorry, but I counter your argument with,
Yeah.
if they had at least had every character be of some consequence, I would have said maybe they said, this is enough, we're good here. But no, they were like, who do we put in so we don't have to do Shatner?
I will say,
Grab
throwing
this.
in the Star Trek Prodigy character, that's a pretty big slap in the face.
That's
Okay.
intentional. That's desperation. And you may, what it does is they looked at it and said, we got too many white guys up there, so we can't do Data. What else are we going to do? Well, if we do Worf, there's too many men. Grab some cartoon characters. We don't have a lot that people are going to recognize. Grab that. What's that? What's this over here? Grab her. You don't even know she's the main character of Prodigy.
Yeah, because that's the back of her head.
Oh, I know why they picked her. No comment. I just looked at the character model and design and said, we've seen that same side head. Anyway. Okay, now I get it. No, look at that. Look at that kind of, you almost can't tell. I can't even tell you if that's a she or a he, which I'm pretty sure is on purpose.
They think they even drew her different on the...
Is it a her? Don't assume that. I don't know. I thought it was a female character. We don't know the name of that character, and I can't tell anymore. I'm unsure. I am unsure.
Whatever.
I have no idea what that is. Now.
I've never heard of it, but it says Paramount Plus original, but it's not on Paramount Plus.
I mean, it could be either. Yeah. I mean, it's really hard to tell.
I will say, well, heck, they've got her even over here with...
They got it. We don't know the gender.
Hey,
Aurora.
Did it replace? I mean, it's
you got
sitting in
Janeway,
Captain
you
Kirk's
have
seat
other
there.
members, but...
I have no idea. So actually, I don't know what that is. It is in his chair. Ooh, nice artwork of Worf. I like that. It was well drawn. Janeway. Well, they tried to make this series work. They grabbed every freaking captain they could get. Because why would you see Janeway and the Kirk generation? That didn't happen at the same time. They were just going for it, weren't they? You keep clicking, you'll probably see Cisco. Just go through everybody. It's like, we're going down the list.
That is interesting that they wow. Okay.
So, yeah, dude. They grabbed a random character, is the best way to say it. We still haven't even found the name of that character. We haven't identified what the name of that particular character is.
I could hold on. I wasn't really.
But, like, yeah, so this is
Brett Gray.
See, it might actually... So, actually, like I said, could be it's a male character. I could be wrong. I couldn't tell because, again... But then at a certain age, it's a little hard to tell sometimes. But,
yeah,
so it could just be it's a young male lead that was designed to bring in the kids. That's fully possible.
Brett Gray is, it's voiced by...
Dal. The character's name is Dal.
Dal, yeah.
Click on Dal. Let's see if we can get a little idea of what Dal is supposed to be. Nope, not really. Okay. Well, anyway, though, so take that back. But still, not a good choice. They picked a kid instead of an iconic character or William Shatner. And more importantly, look at the effort we're using to try to find out who this character is. I'm seriously sure I can walk up to any sci-fi convention and say, how do you feel about Dal? And they're not going to know.
I was surprised to see Cat Marcher in there because not many people even know Enterprise was a show that existed. So the fact that they had Scott Bakula's Cat Marcher in there, I thought was pretty interesting. Yeah.
Well, and Scott Bakula has sort of had sort of a shady past too. That Hollywood has gone back and forth on whether or not they want to deal with him. I know he refused to be in the new Quantum Leap reboot.
Like I said, man, it's very clear that they were trying to fill that roster while leaving them out. Like, for example, I would never expect to see Spock and not see Kirk. That's an oddity. It should have been Kirk and Spock next to each other, if we're going to be honest, instead of Uhura. And I love Uhura. But, like, no. Should have been Spock, Kirk, Picard. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing
I will say the most interesting thing is they put a character in that they're not even currently...
Don't even show. Yeah. Like, you can't even go, oh, let me go check out. Oh, I can't. It's not even here.
Yeah.
It didn't lower decks. Trash.
But anyway, I mean, my thing is there is a possibility that it wasn't a snub. I mean, I know it's a small one, but it's a possibility that it's just a random fluke of images.
And it's also possible I may suddenly ascend and become immortal.
That's true. It is. Possible. Yes. I mean, I just want to throw in that hint. You know, the little.
Yes. Technically, dogs may fly. Our economy may not be in trouble. There's a lot of possibilities that could be possible.
Yeah. All right. Let's. Should we move on?
Oh, I shouldn't do that. I just shake my head like that. Ow.
New Lord of the Rings.
No. Yes. Lord of the Rings. Key part, Lord of the Rings, not Rings of Power.
Um,
No, they are claiming they're going to do season 2 of that. Maybe they'll spend $20 billion this time.
So, Warner Brothers is actually working on, not Amazon, Warner Brothers also, a different,
That's very important.
is working on a new Lord of the Rings.
Meant to be tied to the movies
Yeah.
and expand on the movies' lore. Now, that's what they're saying. And that's what we're hoping we get. Now, will I go see it? Just before y'all start, I'm just going to get my part out and just say that I like this. Sounds good. And if I get invited to go see it with a friend, like if you want to go see it, I'll go. Is it on my watch list? The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings is my favorite part of the Tolkien universe. And I got really, really good copies. I never was the dude who went to the Silmarillion and all that. I did not delve into the further lore. I feel like the best they had to offer was Lord of the Rings. And when I was younger as a kid, the best preamble set in that setting was The Hobbit.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll ever produce anything that will catch my attention like that.
I'll be honest. I enjoyed the Lord of the Rings trilogy. To me, that is definitely that is the best that Lord of the Rings done. I didn't care so much for The Hobbit. I still think that the original cartoon, the Hobbit cartoon, is the best production of that.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's hard for me to see the movie, because I also, that was something I saw as a kid, so it's already imprinted,
But Bilbo, the actor for Bilbo,
he
made the movies for me. It's fine. I will admit you're right, but the guy did a good Bilbo, though.
He did.
The actor from Bilbo. Yeah. He did a good job.
I just don't think there needed to be 3 of them, dude.
No. It should have been one movie.
It should have been maybe one 2. Movie.
Maybe, but honestly, they could have did it in 1, 2 at the most. 2 at the most. Yeah, like in the chats, they're saying if they stuck with the books. But here's the thing. Is it a bad set of movies? No. Is it a great representation of the book? No. But Bilbo was well acted. Gandalf was amazing. But honestly, I forget about the third movie. I can't even remember most of the third movie.
Dude,
it was very forgettable.
I got bored a lot in the Hobbit trilogy.
Yeah. Like I said, after the first
dude,
movie,
I have the director extended cuts of the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Oh, I thought you meant Hobbit.
And I have watched them more than once. But
I have director's editions of both. Because that's how much of a fan I was. But if they, and I couldn't find who was the production company for the Lord of the Rings. I don't think it was Warner Brothers, but Warner Brothers did a good job with Harry Potter, at least sticking with that source material. But don't force feed us characters that we know into new content like they did with the Hobbit and Legolas, because that just blew my mind.
Stupid. He wasn't needed. You're not wrong there. That was very weird. But no, man, I mean, like I said, y'all are right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I just want to be fair and say, though, I really liked Bilbo.
Yeah. But the original trilogy was distributed by New Line Cinema.
But but y'all are right. The Lord of the Rings to me is as good as it's ever going to get. They're never going to make anything else, I believe, that's going to touch that at all. Period. Now, does it not mean they will not have interesting new entries? Perhaps. Yeah, I just hope that this is going to be a singular movie and not another attempt at a trilogy.
Yeah. And by the way, New Line Cinema is owned, since 2008, has been operating as a unit of Warner Brothers Pictures. So it is back into the hands of the people who own the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So
that's good. I mean, if they let New Line Cinema make the new movie, that'll be great. But I think it'll be a great fantasy movie if you're looking for that. I think, because here's my guilty thing, and then I'll drop out of it. Like this, I like high fantasy. But Lord of the Rings is just so good, it just stands on its own.
Well, yeah.
So as a setting, I'm not a big Tolkien fan because it's a very low fantasy setting. But the Lord of the Rings is just epic. I don't think, the way this sounds is going to be a little more political. It's going to tell you how this castle was made, how this kingdom was built. He knows whenever he suggests me something, if there's kingdom building in it, I'm not into it. He'll literally be like, man, I found this good book that's got this and this. yeah, be aware. Book 2, they do a lot of kingdom building. He knows I'm like, I'm not. He's
Yeah,
the sim guy. I'm not.
it's definitely. I mean, it says it's gonna deepen Helm's Deep and Rohan's history. So yeah, you're gonna have a lot of world building here. And sort of, fill in the blanks behind the books while trying to keep in line with the books. Is what it sounds like. So
now, this movie was about Tom Bombadil. Be all over it. You know what I'm saying? Because again, that's a mysterious character in his life. But that's my thing. I'm into the fantasy side of it. But if these people, these are the people that if they get the same people to do this should be a good movie. Hopefully, they will make sure it's heavily divorced from the Rings of Power, which is just the worst. Some people think Rings of Power is going to negatively affect this movie. I said no fan of Lord of the Rings even considers that crap canon. I mean, that's about as real as Dragon Ball Evolution. Nobody considers it even slightly canon I know of at all.
Which a lot of this history was lined out by Tolkien already. So, I mean, if they keep in line with what he already written and all that, I think it'll be good. Now, like I said, it may be boring. It may be something I'd prefer to watch at home than in a theater, being it's more world building and history.
I mean, it might be. Yeah, you're right. That's a sit down at the house with some drinks and some good snacks. Maybe hit the butcher shop, man. Grab some of that stuff. We found a great place to eat, man. It's got some good stuff, and chill out and watch it. But I don't think I'd want to sit in a theater and learn the history of Helm's Deep.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. What else we got? I will say AI has become this. It was the word of 2023, and it's gonna continue for a while. It seems. The newest AI controversy is, of course, Magic the Gathering and D&D using AI for backgrounds. One of the big things on this was the fact that they denied it for so long and apparently got caught with their pants down. A lot of the artists are like, nope, that's AI. And we're out. And one of the biggest artists, Dave Raposa, has now quit due to all this because, I mean, as he said, they're using AI backgrounds whilst denying that they were. If they're already breaking their promise, then it's not out of the realm of possibility they'll be using AI to make card art in the near future. Now, the only problem there is there's a lot of copyright issues with AI because AI is grabbing from other people's work most of the time to build upon.
It's imitation. Yeah. AI doesn't create; it imitates. So it's essentially the same thing as someone tracing your work.
Yeah.
And I can get it.
But, I mean, where we are seeing, I think Steam has laxed its rules against games using AI art generation. So, I mean, it's becoming where using other people's work and AI generation is starting to become accepted.
Here's the question. All right. I'm going to do something controversial.
Voice actors are annoyed because they're the union actually said, yeah, okay, without even talking to them apparently.
It's almost like money talks.
Yeah.
I'm going to do something controversial. I'm going to devil's advocate just once.
Okay.
But I'm going to devil's advocate in a little more legit way than just going, but we save money. AI will never be able to replicate real talent. So there is a little bit of a question of, but is this a threat to the people that are highly talented or just to the people that are kind of mediocre and easy to be replicated and replaced by AI?
Well, I mean, obviously, if you look at AI-generated stuff, and I've looked at a lot of AI-generated stuff, you can actually specify in the style of this and in the style of that. And so, I mean, usually, like, if you want to get a good representation, you're putting in keywords of certain styles, certain. So, yeah, I mean, it is very it is using common styles, you know.
Yeah,
Or an artist who has done like a lot of recognizable stuff. Now the problem is some of those artists are still alive. You know, it's one thing if they're dead and you're doing, let's do it in the style of Picasso, but it's a different thing if you're saying, well, in the style of Dave Raposa, you know.
But could it really replicate Dave Raposa? I've seen his artwork. There's a definite creativity and style I don't think it can capture.
It does a pretty damn good job, actually. I mean, it definitely uses it. It doesn't add any new creativity, but it definitely can duplicate
because the way
past creativity.
The way I'm thinking is this: I fully don't believe that AI should be used to replace like a Dave Raposa. But I mean, cranking out your goblin cards, you know, that rote work, that baseline work. Is that not just to go, we need goblins, they don't need to look that good. We're going to have the AI crank out 20 different goblin cards. We're not going to pay like 30 artists to draw goblins.
Yeah, and it's like Flynn says, the problem is companies use AI to create using copyrighted material.
Yeah, not copyrighted. I'm saying like they said baseline though.
Well, then you'd have to create your own AI. You'd have to find material you own to feed it, and maybe, but I don't know, dude.
It's because we are a modern society, and automation is how we advance. Because if you use that AI plate, you got to go back all the way to when we started having machines make parts for things instead of having the line.
Yeah, but art, man, is one of those things. I mean, I think
is anything mass produced really art though? I mean, I get individual stuff like the special artwork, but like I said, your Magic the Gathering, we need 10 goblins cards. We need them to look slightly different. Mm-hmm. Just crank out 10 goblins. This isn't a hero. Just give us 10 goblins, crank them out, boom. It generates 10 different poses.
I get you.
And you do it.
But the thing is it's about creativity, man. Yes, okay, maybe there's not a lot of creativity in creating those 10 variants of goblins, you know. But that's what's putting food on the table for the artist is creating the 10 variants of goblins. So he can create the next really creative thing. So when you put him out of a job...
But if he's really good, then what if he goes over here and he does his 10 goblins look better, and people can choose the better looking goblins and they don't want the AI goblins?
But one image isn't enough to put food on the table, man. When you're taking off my repetitive work, you're hurting my large creativity because my large creativity often doesn't even make money. You know, because of the time and investment and all that.
And remember now, I'm devil's advocate in here. Because, I'm that guy that I could be replaced at my job with an AI if someone did it. So, understand, it's just, I'm trying to push myself out of my own thoughts and go, as a society, when do we need to hit that next step? And are we holding back technology with this?
No, I get the argument. My thing is there's no... duplicating art.
Well, no, not copywriting, just generating
generating art is not going to save the world. You know, I mean, this is a market of creativity, and you're stilling creativity. And you're going to stifle creativity. And stifling creativity is dangerous because that's going to hurt the future more so.
I've had this argument because you're right. Because art isn't a good feel for me to say this, but I've been watching a lot of games lately where they're doing AI acting. And they're getting surprisingly better and better. And they're using, this doesn't sound like anyone you know voices. These AI are generating unique voices to do the voice acting. And I looked at it and said,
well, no, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Okay, they're not doing a person. This is not a person. It was programmed to generate a unique voice. And while it's still, you can tell, it is getting better. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what point do you go? Because the thing is, nobody sounds like Sean Connery. So you're still going to have jobs for Sean Connery. When you want something to sound like Sean Connery, you go to Sean Connery. But when you just need voices, you should be able to fill in the rote voices. Now, yes, I know that makes all the background voice actors who aren't Sean Connery but in trouble. But but then like I said, but you're also telling these companies, we can't do this better.
I don't know. I have a problem arguing this because I have bias versus voice acting and art. Because a lot of people will say voice acting is an art. So I don't know. It's a hard line to battle. Let's look at our chat. He says, imagine a voice actor for Kratos being replaced by an AI. Now but see, that to me, you don't want to do that because that's Kratos. You know what I'm saying? And they're also, that would mean that they are imitating that person's voice, or people aren't going to like it. If the next game comes out and Kratos sounds off, you know how people react to that. Oh, yeah. It bombs when those voices are wrong. We had that when they changed a lot of people were upset when they just changed the voice actor for Bayonetta,
Yeah. And a perfect example is Dragon Ball Super Brawly. When they put in the Red Power Ranger with a voice. Even in the video game, the fighting game, where it was mostly grunts, I could tell the difference immediately in the voice actor.
Oh, well, yeah, dude. I mean,
it was but I mean, in the non-talking parts, I could tell. Well, it's kind of like what you did when you could tell where it was dubbed or subbed, when you were like, that doesn't sound like the right voices of these guys fighting. And they weren't even talking, and he could pick up on it and go, those are American voice actors. So, I get that. But, and that's an easy one, though, Flynn. You served me up an easy one. It's like, no, they're replacing a guy. But what if it had always been an AI? But here's the thing. I don't think that would have worked. I think we wouldn't have liked Kratos as much because AIs aren't to that point yet where they can quite match the emoting of a person. So let them do the stock voices. Let them do the background chatter and stuff. I don't see why that is a big...
Honestly, I think using AI to change a voice is probably more likely to go over than. So if I have a person who's good at emoting and good at, I could have him do all the voices for everything, and then have AI change his voice to a deeper voice and that fits this character.
Is that wrong?
I don't know. I don't think so, but I'm like I said, I'm biased. I love a lot of voice actors, but I hate a lot of voice actors.
Just say it, man. Funimation. It's almost all of Funimation. Like Funimation is almost a whole. Not everybody. Some people. I don't know who they are. I can't hate you if I don't know you. But I rarely get to know anybody and don't go, oh. But hey, I'm just saying that because they have a vagina.
I'd hate to see Frylock be AI animated, AI voice, because I like Carrie Means.
Nobody can replace Carrie Means, though.
You say that, but I mean, you could pretty much replace anything with AI voice.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Nobody can do a good job of replacing Carrie Means. And that's my thing. I don't like bad voice acting. I don't like Funimation. So thus, dude, you can't say that. You could even handle the combat sounds. Like, literally, we're watching an anime, and they're just going, ha, ha. And he's like, something's wrong. No, this is not. And then he goes and changes the sub, and he's like, oh. Like, you can see the relief on his face. Like, he couldn't handle, like, a few seconds of the voice.
That. It's just, I can obviously tell that's how Americans do the...
Yes, and that level of subtlety, AI's not going to pull off.
Yeah.
Not yet. And when it gets to that point, it doesn't matter. Because we've been conquered by the AI at that point. When the AI can perfectly mimic us, voice acting's not the problem anymore. Y'all know I'm all about Skynet's, like, hovering in the future. So I'm like, this isn't what I'm worried about. Well, let me correct that. The baseline. But I do, like, for example, what they're complaining about is the background. I'm sorry, Bloodaxe, we're getting to you, but like they're complaining about the background. There was an animation where the background art was AI. And I'm like, it's the background art of a room. That's not a big ticket job that you need to go pay a high talent person to do. It was literally a background for them to throw an announcement on. That could be AI. That's just a background. This right here could have been AI generated. Well, no, it couldn't have. We had somebody had to do it. But like if we had to replicate it a few times, we could be I done, man. We don't need every one of them to be hand-drawn. We did the original, compensated, we own it. We should be able to generate more of it if we want to with AI. Instead of paying somebody to hand-draw everything. You know, Nike shouldn't have to have every dang check mark hand-drawn either. So that's why I'm like, some base stuff should be allowable, but at the same time, Dave Raposa is 100% correct, though, because they lied about it. Because you can also decide, because they said, hey, guys, don't worry, we're not going to do this. Then they did it. That I'm 100% on, because I'm like, no, fool me once, shame on you, but fool me twice, shame on me. If you've lied to me, I need to treat you like you will continue to lie to me. And that's, to me, is the main point of that is. Yeah. But AI itself is a sticky subject.
Yeah, no, AI is something we can argue.
What do you think, Blood, about AI, man? What do you think about our robot overlords?
You lost me with anime.
He's zoned out. Just a mention of anime.
Just a mention of anime. He's gone.
He's gone. All right, we'll move on.
Hey, we can talk about more straightforward problems.
Capcom has taken their old library and added DRM. Now, of course, this is anyway, Capcom has added new DRM to its old catalog, so a lot of people are upset about this because, I mean, basically it takes the if you had the old stuff and you were using mods or you were using cheats or anything like that, those no longer work now.
Yeah, Capcom's excuse is going, oh, well, PC games people are always cheating and piracy. So that's why we DRM'd our back catalog. I'm like, well, yeah, you know what? Great way to start is to look at your customers, just accuse them of being cheaters and thieves. That's always a great start.
The thing is, it's the old catalog. People aren't even competitively playing this stuff.
Nobody freaking cares about the old stuff. So you're just being an a-hole and being bitter.
Also, you're using Denuvo, which honestly is one of the worst DRMs out there.
I know about them.
They're talking about 10 to 15 frames per second drops because of the DRM. Stuttering, which has always been a problem with Denuvo. I mean, I hate Denuvo. And I will tell you, because of this, there will be more piracy than less. Because people will strip Denuvo out of and redistribute it without Denuvo.
Yeah, I mean, when you do stuff like that, you don't win. You just trigger people to go, well, I was going to do this legit, but now I'm pissed. Yeah. Or just to avoid Denuvo, because they don't want Denuvo. Because also, there are other problems with Denuvo having on the computer. I seem to remember we covered a big Denuvo spill where everybody was like, I don't want this on my computer. I thought that was a big thing. So what they're going to do is they're giving you a reason to find a way around Denuvo. Good job. And it just shows again that Bloodaxe was right. What, he does physical copies. I mean, he wins again. Like I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes we PC players lose, and there's another moment where he's like, you know what doesn't have Denuvo? His disc.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Capcom might try to backload it. You never know. But Capcom has some of the most hostile toward its old IPs. Because, I mean, you know how they've done Mega Man. We've talked about that a lot on this channel.
Well, Mega Man is actually one of the ones that they added the DRM to.
They are just, like, Capcom has a weird attitude, man. I do not get them. They just seem to be weirdly hostile toward their customers and their old IPs at the same time. And I just don't get it. Like, remember that whole Dante affair where they tried to do that DMC Devil May Cry where they were just like, let's screw this up. And then people said, hey, can we get more Mega Man? They said, we're going to put a fat guy in a bad costume in the game just show you how much we hate you. And we're just like, what's your freaking problem, man? I got to give this. Even Sony hasn't been quite that blatant about saying F you. They say it a little lighter. I mean, this is Blizzard F you. You know, this is like you suckers ain't got phones. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like Capcom is just a hater.
Capcom is weird, I will say.
And they made you regret getting their games legitimately. Yeah, Konami too. But like they literally made you regret it. Because here's the thing. That didn't stop piracy. They put the DRM on their games. The pirated games, they couldn't reach if it's done right. So the pirates are just going like, doesn't affect us. What are they talking about? playing Mega Man over here, man, with they playing Mega Man with 0. Get it? Now that Mega Man, they got 0 running behind them. Not Mega Man X. That's a joke. Rose chilling out behind them. You know, they playing modded, having a great time. Over here, the person who was dumb enough to give Capcom their money is like, why does it keep stuttering? You make people look dumb to be honest with you and try to give you their
DRM
money.
is one of the reasons why I have a console, I'll be honest. Because I've played fighting games on PC, and usually they have some form of DRM, and you always get stuttering. It is one of the big issues with DRM on PC games, and if you're trying to play a game like a fighting game, you cannot play it well because you will get stuttering. No matter how good your PC is, you can have the best top-of-the-line PC with the best video card, best processor, stacks of RAM, and you're still going to get that occasional stutter. And it pisses the shit out of me, which is why I quit playing fighting games on my PC.
Dude, you know me. I have an Xbox and a PC. I pick my game on what I play it on, is Bloodaxe those two, on how much responsiveness I need. Like, I would never play a Souls-like I take seriously. Like, Remnant surprisingly performs well, but like I got Elden Ring on Xbox because I said, oh, this game I can't afford even a 0.5 second because that's death. That's death. You know what I mean? You get those really responsive games. Like example, if I was going to play like Dead Cells, our boy Bloodaxe is a Dead Cells freaking master, like a veteran, and he played through Metroid. I could imagine trying to play that through any kind of PC with the level
it plays great, dude. They don't have it's not.
But
it's
mostly the possibility. I don't trust them because they might do it later.
Well, yeah,
they might
I
slap
get that.
the DRM on
afterwards. I generally play almost everything on PC. Fighting games are the one thing that I really just can't play on PC, and it's usually because of some kind of weird DRM stuttering. I mean, literally, I have an Xbox X. I've had it sits down. It's mostly collecting dust because we haven't had a lot of new fighting games yet.
Check your date's coming.
Yeah, So I mean, until the new fighting games, it's just there for whenever they start dropping them.
But like you say, it's for fighting games, and man, I'm gonna tell you, you gotta play it on there. So I mean, but that's my reasoning though, is that you say they don't. I'm like, not right now. Look how far back they went to throw these on. So it's like the thing is that PC has that bad habit of some companies just going back and effing with your game.
Yeah,
that's just the best way to put it. That's the only downside, and that just doesn't seem to happen on console, but it happens a lot on PC where somebody comes back.
I know. I mean, we've DRM is the bane of PC gaming. I mean, it is why piracy exists. I'll be honest, dude. I mean, dude, look at the Batman games. Okay, the Batman games were really good back in the day. Well, Microsoft and its game network was horrible, but you were required to go through it for the Batman games. And through versions of Windows, for a while, those games weren't even playable unless you had hacked copies of them because the Windows Store shut down and changed. And depending on the version of Windows, you would either have to hack the old store into your version of Windows to play the game, or get a version that had it hacked out. Now, eventually, it took years for them to finally get them to where they'd work again with the newer versions of Windows, and that is a problem with PCs. And I'm PC Master Race all the way, but I will admit there's problems, and DRM is probably one of our biggest. And DRM and games that are locked to these systems like Ubisoft Store or the EA Store. I have to log in. I can't just, I load it on Steam, but I also have to now load up EA, or I now have to load up Ubisoft, or now I have to load up Microsoft because they want to go through their system to make sure you're on the up and up,
And there's a very detectable effect. I mean, one of the best things I still love about Steam is I download the flipping game. You know, when I have to play through Game Pass on my PC, when I have to play through whatever the one that Cyberpunk is on, I can tell. It's just, you literally can feel it, especially because I'm a fighting game player. I can feel those minor frame changes. I'm not a frame counter, but I can feel my frames. And there's just that little detectable, it's not running as fast as if it gave you all the reins to run it. And you can tell. Now, we don't want to spend all the time on this, but like I said, because we got another, at least one I gotta cover.
I want to bring out Mike in the chat room. Posted a quote by Gabe Newell. The easiest way to stop piracy is not by putting anti-piracy technology to work. It's by giving those people a service that's better than what they're receiving from the pirates. I agree with that 100%. The more you convolute your service and make things difficult, the more there will be piracy. Honestly, that's why we saw for a long time, we saw a slump in piracy. We did, because we had good services for a while.
Risky. I mean, you don't want to do piracy. It's not safe for your PC. Dude, it's a headache.
Yeah, my Steam library is massive because Steam made things simple. I could go on there, I could buy the game, I could download the game, I could play the game, I was done.
I want to mod it, I can mod the game.
Yeah. If I saw a game on Steam that said, hey, this has a third-party resource required to play this game, I would often pass it up, you know. And I was respectful to Steam because Steam told me, oh, yeah, this is going to require this. And I'm like, oh, yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, you know. I go the other way. So that's a good quote, Mike. Thanks for posting that in the chat room. 100%.
Dude, like when I tried to get an Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you know how many friggin' stupid screens they sent me through? I know why I didn't end up really playing it, because I was already annoyed before I got to the game. This screen, that screen, promises this, say that. Yeah. By the way, be nice, respect something. I'm like, this is a one-player game. Who I need to respect? Like, who can I offend? It's freaking one-player game, but I'm signing agreements, and I'm not going to be mean to who? Me? You know what I mean? I don't even know. I'm up here looking like, why do I need to sign the agreement about be nice? I literally was in it, and anybody got in there, then I get in, and I'm walking around with whatever face, and I'm not a Viking yet, and I just said, uninstall. I got better crap to do in my time. I'll go kill zombies with Bloodaxe. I ain't got to play this stupid junk and jump through Ubisoft's hoops. Never seen a game fail before it starts. That's just sad. But, like, Ubisoft made me jump through enough friggin' hoops that I was sick of the game before I got going. I think that's Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed. That's just bad.
Well, when playing Dying Light, we may have to worry about our social score, because...
I think this game can be fixed, but now I don't know what's going to happen.
Tencent completes majority ownership of Dying Light dev Techland. If you've been watching this show for a while, you know Tencent is a Chinese-owned game conglomerate, and now they own Techland. So how do you feel about that? I'm not a Dying Light fan. I haven't really played Dying Light, so I don't have a lot to say about this. This is one of my, I got to grab this to piss off Q.
Well, Bloodaxe will tell you, we played Dying Light 1 and 2. Well, I know we played 2. I think I played 1 with Flynn. But, like, we played Dying Light 2 all the way through. We beat it. We came back when they added New Game Plus. So it wasn't a bad game. It needed polish, but it wasn't like a Redfall or anything. And I kept hoping it would become the game that we both wanted it to be. And even when I was playing Dead Island 2, which has been a much more fun experience, I kept seeing things that I said, Dying Light 2 did do that better. Like the combat, the mobility, you know, it did feel a lot better. But, yeah, I know. Every time I miss a Redfall, we check.
I had to do my weekly Redfall check.
Almost every show, we go back to go, by the way, Redfall. And I was hoping that Dying Light 3 would be better. But... And I mean, the thing is, Tencent's not a bad company to own a game, but it's Tencent. So I don't know. What do you think, Bloodaxe? Because I got a point of view, but I'm gonna throw it on at the end of it. Like,
Well, I don't have the beef with Tencent that you do. The thing that I've always just kind of leaned into is the game fun to play. And playing Dying Light 2 was fun. The story was crap. The cutscenes were just mind-numbingly monstrous, but the game was fun. So if they can fix some of the story elements for Dying Light for the third one, yeah, I mean, we'll give it a go. It's a game we can play together. Hope we can fight zombies this time and not other people. But yeah, I'll hold reservations because the gameplay after you beat the game in Dying Light, everything's so bullet spongy, and
It's got the worst end game. God.
and the time it takes to renew the what were they, the banshees or whatever the special bosses were.
Yeah.
That's stupid. Having to wait 24 hours to be able to fight it again, you only get one crack at it. That's ridiculous.
Oh, the special events. Oh, those in-game events were awful. It had the worst in-game I may have ever
So
seen.
make better choices. I mean, hell, I'd rather go play Borderlands 3 again than pick up Dying Light 2 and start playing that again. Even though there's a lot of the content, Dying Light 2 I never actually finished. Yeah, if you make the game fun to play, then people will put up with a lot of extra bullshit.
Yeah, and that was the only thing I give Tencent, though it's sad for why, as I said, well, one thing you got to say about Tencent and China is that they don't do well. I mean, they don't. So they're not going to let them sell us that more Rosario Dawson nonsense, and they're definitely not going to let the main character get pimp slapped
Well,
every
I mean,
cutscene.
one of the other things you got to say is
God, did they even get slapped in the mouth?
Tencent has a lot of money, dude. And I mean, they've got Techland has a fantasy RPG in the works. I mean, it could put a lot of money.
And Tencent's about making money.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's the other problem is you might have to pay for every color change of your armor and every.
But it's a shame when you got to count on the
long as
bad
it's
guys
cosmetic.
to do stuff because at least they want to make money, so they'll do things you want to see in a game, though. Because they may make you pay for every color, but they'll also probably let you have more control over what your character is and not let you get pimp slapped in the mouth in every cutscene. So, because no one enjoys that. Well, okay, there are
as
people,
long as
but
it's
we're not
cosmetic.
subs.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't want to pay to win, but if it's cosmetics, I might drop a couple bucks here or there.
I
But
will buy them if they're
you know,
cheap.
but the thing about Dying Light is you don't see your own character, so it doesn't matter what
You have to
color
be a
your outfit.
multiplayer. Like, hey, Bloodaxe, do I look good? I got the skin. How does it look? He's like, that looks pretty good. Okay.
I mean, as we know from checking out recent anime, some people have some weird taste, man.
I don't want to talk about Kingdom of Ruin. I do not want to talk about Kingdom of Ruin. All right, that was, trust me, Bloodaxe, maybe not being in anime is the right choice. You occasionally run across some messed up stuff. And no, I'm not even talking about an adult category. I just mean, you're on Crunchyroll, and you see, like, the most violent thing you've ever seen done to a woman since Goblin Slayer episode 1, and you're just like, oh, wow. Is there a point to that? No. No. I'm not into that. I'm a happy person. I have kids, dang it. I don't want to watch, like,
Yeah, all right. Let's move on.
sadistic.
All right.
We're almost out of time, so we can speedball the how many people are getting fired now?
All right. In this week's layoffs in tech,
This is the first month of 2024, man. It is crazy.
Discord is laying off 17% of employees. The cuts were announced today. This was on the 11th of January. Packed about 170 people across various
It's
departments.
not at least too huge a number.
Yeah.
170 is a lot, but
They said we grew quickly and expanded our workforce even faster, increasing by 5 times since 2020. As a result, we took on more projects and became less efficient in how we operated. I get this. I do. I mean, sometimes,
yeah, I'm sure nobody's going to fire much more than 170 people.
yeah. Next up, we have Twitch is laying off about 35% of its staff.
That's
this is about
500
500 people.
Okay, that's a lot more people, but I'm sure that's as big as it gets.
Once again, a lot of this comes from fast expansion and just growth and during the cough and stuff like that. So
that's what it is. That's why.
Yeah,
a lot of
It's
it.
the cough. I saw the coof.
The coof.
That's why. Nothing else.
That's what a lot of them are claiming, that there was mass hiring during the coof.
And who they hired, it's when they hired.
Hey, I'm just saying
Not
what
who
they're
is when.
saying. Next time we have Unity Software cut 25% to cut 25% of its staff in a company reset. That's 1,800 jobs.
That was a lot. Oh, I mean, seriously, no, that's a lot of people to be unemployed in the beginning of the year.
Now, I mean, this is, I think they already did one layoff a while back. So.
And it only gave them 5% up in there after I was trading. God, that's a lot of people that got fired for 5%. See,
Well, Unity's been doing a lot of stupid things. I mean,
we're starting 2024. We're going to have an unemployment crisis like crazy.
It says the shares
no,
have
now it's
jumped
up
40% since Whitehurst announced the company reset.
Yeah, but that is a lot of unemployed people, though.
And then we have Disney pushes towards streaming profitability, Pixar to undergo layoffs. Now, this is estimated to be between 1,300 to drop to less than 1,000 over the coming months. So about a 20% reduction, possibly with Pixar. Now, this was TechCrunch said they did confirm it with the company, Pixar, that these layoffs are coming.
How many dang employees do they have at Pixar?
Well, if
That's only
20%
20%.
is about 1,000, then you say about 5,000 employees.
That's pretty. I mean, the problem with Pixar is got too many dang people there. That's a lot for an animation studio, especially for what they've been cranking out.
Yeah, no, Pixar
we looked
Pixar
through
has
this
not
guy.
been doing good. It's I mean, this last few movies have done poorly.
What shocked me is when we went to take a quick peek at it. I won't go all into it, but we took a peek at it. Movies that we were told were successes were massive failures.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like you go and it's like, oh, this movie was great and everybody was applauding it, and then you're like, that movie lost like $150 million. You're like, holy crap, that's not a success.
Well, they were like, it's a critical success.
And then it's on the list of largest movie
movie,
losses
yeah.
ever. Like, you're like, it's at the top. We're talking about Turning Red. But, like, just, wow. Like, it was kind of like what got caught on Sony before we go into that, of where those leaks showed that, like, oh, no, Spider-Man 2 is not doing well compared to Spider-Man 1. They spend $600 million to get their exclusivity licenses. You're like, they're not, I mean, I'm saying that doesn't mean they're still not successful, but there's a lot, they're not as nearly as successful as they are portraying. They're winning, but they're not winning by this, huge gap because their expenditure is beyond belief. Last of Us 2, man, we found out Last of Us 2 actually sold not only less than Last of Us 1, but then it sold less than the Last of Us 1 remake. A game that already existed that they just remade sold more than Last of Us 2, which means Last of Us 2 is the worst selling Last of Us game. Not ever heard that. You would have think it was the best selling. So, little snippets. And then, of course, we found out this.
Well, and I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, it's just another Game Awards, man. So I mean, the Dice Awards. People were talking about Spider-Man 2 being
Every category almost.
a lot of people were shocked to see Spider-Man 2 in this much. I will say, man, I mean, I've been keeping up with I mean, I've watched a lot of Spider-Man 2. There's a lot of good in this game. There is, man, but there's also a lot of bad, and a lot of it comes from just the way that they replied to the players. To me, I think that hurts this game more than anything else. Is the fact that players said they didn't want something, and what did you do? You went and added more, and then you said you didn't really care.
But the thing is, we said, actually, props to Zeno. Zeno said, how do they decide their winners? And that investigation got a little interesting.
Yeah, so I was looking up how, and I looked up Dice because, we talked about the Game Awards only having 10% coming from the fan
Actual
base.
gamers and players,
And so for Dice Awards, well, the Dice Awards are actually chose by members of the Academy of Interactive Arts, which is basically a paid-for membership.
So literally, how many of the actual base fan audiences and customers? 0%. They beat them with their, and these are high cost memberships. I mean, it gets up to $30,000 for an annual membership.
Yeah.
At the corporate level. And I looked at that and said, no way that your $30,000 corporate membership doesn't probably carry a couple of extra votes with that kind of price tag. So it's basically only these paid members of this board get to vote on these awards. So it's a corporate awards. It's like Hollywood giving Hollywood their own awards. Some of the award ceremony are literally voted on by Hollywood alone.
Yeah.
This is that. This is the corporations pick these. And no, somehow Sony ends up on top of most of it. So we're like, well, we know how much they're willing to spend. They probably have 30% of the
But
memberships.
I've looked through a lot of game awards, and there's I haven't seen one that really does it
Steam?
good. Steam doesn't really do it that well either.
It's closer to Democratic, though. It's the people.
Well, yeah, it is Democratic. I think Steam has an issue of not enough categories, and
oh yeah, that's a problem.
And
I'm talking about the voting.
Democracy is a bit flawed. You do need some curation, and I think that's where Steam failed. They're just like, no curation,
I agree, but if I had to pick between an award where they let everybody vote and an award where they only let people with a very personal vested interest vote, I will always put more weight onto everybody, the people who actually play games, every voice heard, over corporation only.
Yeah, well, the other issue with Steam is also only PC. It's PC games only, so
I would think you lose. That's the only one that matters.
You lose a large. No. I'm not. I like we talked about cross-platform and stuff like that. We would prefer to see, or I would prefer to see games on every platform. Now I prefer to play them on PC, but I don't like locked games that are locked to a specific ecosystem. I think it's dumb,
I'm hoping that eventually expires because it's a waste. Hell, it's a waste of money for Sony. Looking at how much they're spending. Why don't you just do real competition and say, let the best system win, play the game on what you want, let people play with each other. But I guess that'll, that kind of fair play ain't gonna happen, or fair competition. Me and Bloodaxe are still waiting on Remnant 2. They say they're working on it to get their cross-platform so we can jump back into that, but they are saying they're working on it, but I'm all for cross-platform.
Well, it's just how business works, dude. It's hard.
Or cross-play.
It's hard to get the concept of exclusivity out of the business mind. It's how businesses. It's how the TVs. Look, I've been seeing clips of this show called Shrinking that had
Harrison
Ford in it, and I was like, man, that looks cool. Let me go see which one of my services that I have, because I have a bunch of subscription services, a lot because of this show. I go to look, and it's Apple TV, and I was like, well, that's the one I don't have, and
I don't want.
And I'm in the Android ecosystem, and so I can't push money to Apple, and so I was like, well, that sucks, So it sucks but every industry has exclusives. Your software companies. The whole point of selling is I have something that no one else has. So I get the concept of exclusives. Now, for me, I wish there wasn't there for the gaming because it affects me, but no, I get it. I can't hate because of the exclusives. I just wish they weren't there.
Well, let me let Bloodaxe go. I got a closer on that then. I got about the exclusives I want to say, but we'll close out on it. What you got, Blood? How you feel about the Exclusivity.
Well, I mean, I don't care for exclusivity because a lot of the times the games I want to play aren't on Xbox consoles, so I'm left out in the cold on a lot of these games. But in regards to Dice, I am kind of curious how many people from Sony corporate had paid to be part of that membership in order to get Spider-Man across the board for all those different categories. I do think that would be something interesting to find out. But if it's pay to participate, then that just does not hold a whole lot of weight, in my opinion, as far as the quality of the awards given out anyway.
Well said. Pay to participate. I like that. That's a good way to pop it. And I mean, there you go. I mean, I can't beat that. Pay to participate. But on exclusivity, here's why I think that's going to fail coming in the next few years. Because let's be real, man. There was a time that worked because the quality of the games was so good that there was must-play games. The quality's failing. I don't see games that I have to play like I used to because of like what they did with Marvel Spider-Man 2. You know, honestly, you praised Spider-Man 1 so much that I was looking to get the PC Spider-Man and maybe even Spider-Man 2 because I'm actually a Miles Morales fan. But I had heard about these annoying missions. Then the next game comes out and I hear the attitude, and now a game that they could have sold to me on PC, not only am I not getting that one, I don't want the first one. Why? Because I'm OCD. I like to play the whole series. And if I know the sequel is something that I won't enjoy, why play the first one? So they're killing the must-have. What's the last? I mean, even Baldur's Gate 3, incredible game. I hear nothing but praise for it. But I'm not into turn-based anymore. And all the good things about it don't weigh enough for me to buy it unless I catch a crazy sale. In which case, I might snap it like I did. You know, like Bloodaxe will tell you, he has to wait. He's amazing. Thank you for being patient with me. Then sometimes I just won't pay full price for some games. I don't want to do turn-based. I don't like XCOM style games. I don't really like the turn-based anymore. But if it gets low enough, I'll buy it. But what I'm trying to say is that the games aren't there anymore, to be blunt, to make you have to buy this 6, 7, 8, because by then, you know, it's going to be 7, it's going to be $800 console to play their little exclusives. Like, I looked at the list of all the games coming out for Sony when they did the reveal. None of it even tickled our fan. Neither you. I even said, what do you think about it? He was like, we're huge X-Men fans. We have no hope for the X-Men on there. No hope. So it might have to stop because it's not going to make the money to cover it.
I don't know, dude. I mean, the God of War series is still one that I do like. That PlayStation has exclusive with. So that one hurts, but that's about it, right?
It hurts, but don't the word hurts. You could get it.
Yeah,
it's on PC.
Well, not the new one.
Not the new one.
Right, and to kind of wrap it up, I think that we're moving away from the exclusive must-have console to which one brings us the most value. And right now, you know, between the Game Pass version for Microsoft and Sony, you know, we enjoy so many more benefits with Game Pass than we ever would with the Sony subscription service that, you know, a lot of us are migrating towards Microsoft just because of that benefit. And so I think the must-haves may go the way of the dodo, and is, you know, which one can I get the most value for my buck? And because the consoles are so expensive. And that may be kind of the new method as far as what we determine which console or which gaming platform we're going to go with.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is I pretty much only play fighting games on console, so exclusivity doesn't really affect me that much on console. Especially because if you're going to be a competitive fighting game, you've got to be on all the consoles.
Or else you can't be competitive because then you can't hold tournaments. Because I remember that there was an issue that some games weren't on tournaments until they were across the consoles because they said, well, it's unfair. You know, these guys are the only people that can practice the friggin' game. And not everybody can afford to have 2 or 3 consoles. So if you're going to have the whole thing, and that's my thing. Because also, let's be honest, man, spending power is dropping. People don't have the money for this. They don't have the money to waste. And
well, I mean, we saw the number of layoffs coming up. So
yeah, that's what I'm referencing. So to wrap it up, I am predicting that exclusivity will stop being as profitable. And it doesn't have to be that it's not, that, and you may say, well, it's still profitable, but actually, companies are getting back into being about making money. Eventually, those gaming companies are going to go, we're not making the money we can make over here doing this. We need to put our game out across. Especially when the tech starts to even out.
I think that's why Sony fought Xbox so much, though, is because, well, right now they have a 4-to-1 console ratio against Xbox. You know, to every one Xbox, there's 4 PlayStations. So it is still profitable for them to be exclusive. Now, if that console ratio shifts, and that's why they were fighting the whole Blizzard thing and all that, because they were afraid that, well, if Xbox starts getting half the market, well, now we're cutting off our own game sales if we don't go to Xbox. Right now, they're not cutting off a huge amount of their game sales because a lot of the people that own Xbox also own PlayStations, and they have the market. So,
yeah, and also the Xbox hasn't started slamming out those must-have exclusives yet.
Well, yeah, sadly, Xbox has not been has been pitching poorly. You know,
yeah, but in their defense, Xbox was able to buy a lot of these companies because they were already effing up. Let's just be real.
Well, yeah.
Like, the companies they bought wouldn't have sold if they weren't screwing up bad, and they're continuing this kind of screw up.
Well, yeah, no, I know, and we'll see how well Xbox does as they've owned these companies a little longer and they have a little more hands, in the pot, But I mean, yeah, Starfield was been in production for years and years before Microsoft even owned, Bethesda.
Let's be real. We're businessmen here. All 3 of us are businessmen, right, Bloodaxe? Zeno?
Yeah.
It's clear what happened with Starfield. That's why Bethesda did it. They probably knew Starfield. They probably looked at it and said, this ain't going to do it. Because I looked at Starfield and I said, holy crap, if this had went out when they were having trouble, this could have killed them. Really could have. Like, they were in trouble when they sold. They were having problems. This might have sunk them. Well, Starfield was a failure.
Well, we see how many revisions. Like, people have been going through the code, seeing tons of revisions in Starfield and all that stuff. I mean, it's been, like I said, it had been a project for over a decade, and they were having trouble making the game fun. Now, here's the thing: they have the potential of making the game fun now that it's out. Now, it's a sucky way to do it because, it's basically making you the tester and the creator of this fun game. But now that it's out and people are playing it, people are throwing out ideas, people are throwing out mods, people are throwing out, and it's like, I don't think Bethesda's not looking at that and going, okay, this is what people are finding fun, this is what people are not finding fun, we need to fix this, we need to fix this. And so that's why I haven't fully given up on Starfield. Is Bethesda is really good about going in and changing stuff.
Dude, the best success story in the world, Skyland, took a while to get there. Everybody looks at it fondly, but I remember when it was considered like the worst friggin' game, like worse than Starfield. It was considered like trash.
Well, like No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. That's what I meant. Yeah, that's what I said. No Man's Sky, like
Skyland.
That was pretty sucked too. Yeah. But No Man's Sky, a lot of people don't remember how bad it was. But I remember sitting in the back, like hearing people like just railing.
But dude, with Bethesda, Fallout 76. Fallout 76 is considered a good game now.
Yeah.
It was crap. It was so crap.
So but now they got the money to get there and see what all it's going to take for Sony to be in trouble because of how much they're spending on these exclusives, the amount of cost it cost them. Is one good year. Like if Xbox pops off 3 or 4, maybe not even 3, 2 or 3 top exclusives, Sony can't afford, with that 4-to-1 ratio becomes a 2-to-1, even just a 2-to-1, I don't think they can afford to give $600 million to a studio to make probably going to be bad games. I don't think they can afford it. So it's like, I get it. And I'm not saying this to attack Sony. I'm saying this to go, I understand their business model. They have to have the corner of the market they have to maintain their crown. Because I said this a long time ago. I had this theory. I always said, why is everyone doing this exclusive? That's not good for the game company. They're losing money. Not if you're giving them this much money. Right, Bloodaxe? Not for that much money. They're not losing money. Because this deal even says, yeah, these games bomb, we'll compensate you if these games bomb. So the deals they're making are insanely lucrative, but they can only afford it because they're 4-1. They can't afford to waste that kind of money if they're not. So they're in a precarious position where they're way up here, but it's the Jenga tower, and all that. And if Xbox has got the endurance to just go, Bethesda or one of these companies is going to crank out a winner, and when it does,
yeah, I mean, we'll see, man. The great thing is the future becomes the past, and so we'll know eventually what happens. All right, guys.
You got anything to close on Bloodaxe? Make sure we don't. What you got?
No, actually, I'm good. But the exclusivity, I think, especially with the way that finances are for most companies right now, people aren't going to be able to afford to pay those exorbitant prices and still stay in business. Yeah. So it's possible Microsoft might be able to gobble up some more companies on the cheap, and we'll just keep benefiting on Game Pass.
Yeah, I think Microsoft's going to stay away from gobbling up any more companies for a while, but we'll see. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Dicejunkies.com where you can find links everywhere we are online. Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever we go live. And as every week,
we hope you enjoy. That hurt.